Alright guys, so right now we'll be working on making our player jump, and to do that the first thing we need to do is create a public void and call it jump. Actually, it should go outside of here. Public void jump. And the first thing we want to do is we want to stop the animation from running. So if the player can jump, then we want to this dot stop animation, and we want it to stop. And once it stops, we want to then just do this set current tile index, and we want to set this to 5 because we want it to be on the animation where the player jumps. Let's just check to make sure. All right, and 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we want it to be right there on 5. All right, so and the next thing we want to do is we need to do can jump, and we need to set it to false because we don't want the player to be able to keep tapping the screen and the player keeps jumping and jumping and jumping and jumping. We want him to be able to jump, hit the ground, jump, hit the ground, jump, hit the ground, like that. And the next one to do is we need to do a vector 2, and we'll just call it velocity equals new vector 2. And we're going to set the y to 0, the x to 0 and the y to -10. So he'll jump about 10 meters off the ground. And yeah, so we can play around to that number. If you want him to jump higher, you can always change that to like 15 and he'll jump higher, but we'll just leave it at 10. And the next we're going to do body dot set linear velocity and pass it the velocity. And that's it. So now what we want to do is we want to go back to our main game scene, So let's X out of this, save it. And inside of here, when the player taps the screen, we want our player to jump. So to do that, we need to go ahead and make our scene implement a scene detector, a scene touch listener. So to do that, you just do implements I on scene touch listener, and let's import that. And let's go ahead and add an unimplemented methods. And in our create scene, what we need to do is we need to do this dot set on scene touch listener to this, because we want the scene touch listener to be pointed to this class right here. So when the player touches the screen, what will happen is this method right here will be called, and we want to do if p scene touch event is action down, then we want our player to jump. So if it is, then we just want our user to tap the screen, and then our player will just jump up in the air, and it'd be really, really cool. So yeah, it's pretty self-explanatory. And so now inside of here, we just do player dot jump, and that's it. And we can actually go ahead and test this out and see if it works. So let me open up my BlueStacks player. And the next thing we want to do is that in the next section, I think we'll be discussing contact listeners. So what will happen is that this variable here in our player class called can jump, when the player is in the air, it's going to be false, but when he collides with the ground object, it's going to be set back to true, and that means he can jump again. But for now, we haven't set that up yet. So if you tap the screen more than once while the player's jumping, he'll just keep jumping and jumping, but we'll fix that later on. So there's my BlueStacks player, and let's go ahead and run our game. Wait for it to finish building. All right, and run. There's our main menu, play, and let's try to tap the screen, and as you see, there he is. He jumps. And if you notice, he doesn't change back to the old. He doesn't change back to the set running, right? So the reason why is because, like I said, we don't have that contact listener yet. So, when we press jump, what happens is that his towel is going to be set to that jumping animation. So as you see, he's just like stuck in a jumping animation, and we stop the animation from running, so he's not running anymore. But if we just comment this out right here, if we just comment this out, you'll see that when he jumps, he'll still be running in the air, and he'll come back down to the ground normally. So let's just run that, and you'll see here play, and if he jumps, he's still running, and he comes back down, and he's still running. And and if you notice, you can't tap the screen again because that can't jump variable is now false, and we never set it back to true. But in the next section, or maybe the next section or lecture, I'll be telling you guys about contact listeners, and we'll be working with that there. So for now, that's it. We have our player, he's now animating, he's running, and we have him jumping, which is pretty cool. And go ahead and uncomment those lines, just take those comments out. And that's it for this lecture. I will see you guys in the next one.